Hello my striker brothers, welcome to my first ever voiceover and how to counter video. I'll be doing more of these depending on which classes becomes more popular since content gathering will be much easier. So, for obvious reasons, up first would be the post-buff Berserker. Now, as I've always done in these videos, there is a disclaimer. Read up and so we can get started. So let's start with one of Berserker's rework skills, Reckoning. Reckoning, with Flow Catharsis, can now be charged up and it can deal up to 170% bonus damage while reducing damage taken by 30% at the same time. This skill is still protected with super armor, but now topping it off with anti-grab while charging. This skill in Karkea Arena was almost one-shotting people. That's how strong this skill is. This skill has gotten nerfed since then, and might still receive more nerfs since it's still very strong when paired with Unleash. There's two different levels of charge up for this skill, so I wouldn't suggest trying to anticipate how short or how long this skill is going to come out. Striker is still a hard counter for Berserker, so we do have multiple ways of dealing with Reckoning. Up first would be Shoulder Thrust. Shoulder Thrust has always been a reliable way to block damage with its forward guard, but it has now become one of our weaknesses as well, but I'll get into that later. Second option would be Fast Casting Knee Hammer. The idea is to take advantage of Knee Hammer's invincibility while moving to completely avoid taking any damage at all. It's hard to tell when the damage of Reckoning comes out, so RNG somewhat plays a factor, but if you fast cast Knee Hammer, your chances of not taking damage at all is still pretty high. Third option, Grab Cancel. Reckoning has anti-grab while charging, but that does go away as soon as the charging is done. Timing the grab cancels majority of the damage that comes from Reckoning, and if you really get good at anticipating the release timing of Reckoning, you can achieve a perfect cancel and negate all of the skill's damage completely. Fourth option would be Gale Force Chips. If you do use this, I would suggest closing it with a Shoulder Thrust to protect yourself from a counter move. One final thing about Reckoning, the hitbox goes beyond the animation, so be very aware of that. This next rework skill is more of a need to know information. Unleash. This buff is granted to Berserkers after using a skill 5 times when Vengeful Wrath is active, or if you down the Berserker. Unleash reduces all skill cooldowns by 0.5 seconds every time a skill is used, and he also becomes immune to attack speed debuffs. And then top it off with PvP damage buff by 11% and reduction of 20%. Thank goodness this skill is getting nerfed more. This skill gives Berserker insane mobility and damage because of the lower skill cooldowns on important skills. On to the next skill, Havoc Thrust. This skill didn't receive a rework, but what has changed is that Berserkers now know how to utilize this skill to capitalize on our weakness that I mentioned earlier, our Shoulder Thrust. In addition to being able to break forward guard if they cast this close enough, they're now also utilizing the side dash to Havoc Thrust. Here are a few examples of my forward guard being broken. Now for countering this, Grab Cancel. A lot of this counter requires anticipation for the skill or quick reaction when you do see it if they're far enough. Doing this denies them a super armor skill and damage while you get to apply yours instead. Here and there, I saved the grab from my B&B combo and use it for their Havoc thrust when they get up to counter, just to mix things up. Other than the grab cancel, the only other way to counter this is really to just protect your forward guard with either knee hammer or simply dashing away. And just for final tips with fighting a Berserker, watch out for resist. Berserkers are very good at this when their buff is active. Always be ready to bail on your combo to avoid getting punished, and also, don't waste your cooldowns when trying to counter. Because of Unleash, Berserkers can now easily disengage and keep their disengage cooldowns low as they spam their skills, so patience can go a long way with fighting them. And that concludes this episode of How to Counter video post-buff Berserker edition. I hope you guys found this video helpful in any way to fighting Berserkers, or maybe even if you're a Berserker watching this, I hope it helps you fight us Strikers. Let me know in the comments what you think of this video, or if there's anything I can change or add to make this content even better. Also, special shout out to Grey Werewolf and Sekidan for making this video possible with the matches they provided me. So, gave me a lot of content for this. And also, I do live streams on Twitch and YouTube. I mainly do non-PvP activities on Twitch, while I do all PvP related activities on YouTube. Support me! Follow me on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube, all that good stuff. And as always you guys, thanks for watching.